success of the amendment process and that benefited us. Addition to the memoranda, the committee has received on a broad range of issues. I've also studied and engaged a select group of competent and consultants. Further examines recommendations from the reports. All Progressive Congress APC Committee on Truth, Values, requiring amendment for implementation. Committee also requested some of bills passed amendment exercises which not pass all those of concurrence with House of Reps, ratification, and presidential assent. Since examining those bills, we introduce some of the proposals in beneficial. We are looking at them. I mean, at what stage of the process they fell off, list the reasons thereof. On them. Demands of our time, ensuring that they do not suffer the same fate this time around. As we work towards an inclusive amendment process underpinned by public good, free from manipulations by self-interested or partisan actors, not dominated by destructive or short-term motives, encourage you all to make your input and guided very importantly the national interest. We are ready to listen closely. Every view, reflect on every proposal, give due consideration every contribution. Now, some of our compatriots have urged, rather than amending the Constitution, we should just make a new Constitution altogether. We respect the opinion. We believe it is the most desirable proposition. However, we are conducting this exercise in accordance with the extant legal order, which is in the 1999 Constitution. Specifically, Section 9 of the Constitution empowers the National Assembly alter the provisions of the Constitution and prescribes the manner in which this is to be done. Unfortunately, it does not make similar provision or provide mechanism for replacing or writing an entirely new Constitution. To embark any process without prior alteration of Section 9 of the Constitution to provide the mode through which an entirely new Constitution could be written would amount to gross violation of our oath of allegiance to the Constitution. In other words, it takes a new constitutional amendment to Section 9 to be able to give Nigerians a most desired new Constitution to be unconstitutional to do otherwise. Fellow Nigerians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to assure you most sincerely that this committee will be guided strictly by best legislative practices, highest ethical standards, integrity, open-mindedness, and patriotism. Therefore, I encourage and implore all of us here today, irrespective of political leanings, other affiliations, to abide by the same standards while making our contributions. I am of the strong conviction that it is the desire of every Nigerian that this process will bring positive transformation to our country. I once again invite you all to participate actively, public hearing, so that together we can bequeath our nation a constitution that speaks to every citizen's yearnings and aspirations. While I thank you all most profoundly for attending this public hearing, let me use this opportunity to thank President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawan, for his leadership and support for the work of the committee. Once again, on behalf of the Senate Committee, Constitutional Review, welcome you all to the National Public Hearing. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Senate and Chairman of the Senate Committee on COVID-19 and 1999 Constitution. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call for yet another round of applause for His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Senate. Moving on, Your Excellency, permit me to recognize the presence of distinguished Senator Robert Ajayi Boroface, the Deputy Leader of the Senate, distinguished Senator Mukail Adetokunbo Abiru, distinguished Senator Aisha Ahiru Binani, distinguished Senator Adamu Abdullahi, distinguished Senator Ibukunle. I'd like us to please give them a resounding applause, just as I also recognize presence of Lois Auta, representative of the women with disabilities and president of the disabled women. I'd like to welcome you. Thank you very much for coming. Moving on, Your Excellency, we'll be taking a few goodwill messages. Very first goodwill message is going to be coming from the Chairman Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures in Nigeria, who also doubles as the Speaker of Abuja State House Assembly, Right Honorable Abubakar Y. Suleiman. Abubakar Suleiman, we please welcome him to the podium with a resounding applause as well, please.
Excellency, Prime Lawal, President of the Senate, other principal officers of Chief Justice of Nigeria, ably represented, the Speaker, House of Representatives, they are present, deputies, also the Chairman of the Constitutional Review, Excellency Emma Labuni, Executive Governor of Yobe State, ably represented, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, of State House of all other duly and respectfully observed. It gives me immense pleasure to be part of this very important and auspicious event, National Public Hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution, organized by the Senate Committee on the Review of the Constitution. On behalf of the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures of Nigeria, I express appreciation to the Senate Committee on the Constitution Review and indeed the National Assembly for yet another noble exercise of amending the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In our country, we are being confronted with the new realities that border on insecurity, economy, power devolution, etc., etc. We believe these and others can only be effectively addressed for good governance and development in our country by altering the Constitution. Therefore, we appreciate the National Assembly for leading in respect. However, I wish to remind us that in any democratic setting, the process of amending the Constitution is always very enormous, difficult, and ours not an exception. This because certain peculiarities in our country, these include diverse in our religions, ethnicity, socio-political differences, different yearnings and aspirations of the people. Not allow these differences to derail exercise. Rather, call on the Senate and indeed National Assembly steadfast, committed, dedicated, above all, set our differences aside with a view to having a constitution that can stand the test of time. As critical stakeholders at the state level, we are equally aware of our constitutional role, the process of review. We are poised to touch our response, line with the yearnings, aspiration of the people. Beyond our traditional role of ratifying resolutions, National Assembly, Constitutional Review, the State Houses of Assembly, under the platform of the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures of Nigeria, submitted a memorandum both to the committee, the Senate, House of Representatives on the Constitution Review. Issues raised in the memorandum, if considered and passed, strengthen our institutions, ensure good governance. Chairman and the Secretary of the Conference of Speakers Committee, Constitutional Review, are here with me. Speak to our memorandum, the cause of the public hearing. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures of Nigeria, I want to respectfully call on the National Assembly to endeavor to carry along major stakeholders like Presidency, the Executive Governors, state level, the ongoing amendment exercise. We are particular about the executive arms at both tiers of government due to the previous experience of reluctance or selective consideration, presidential assent by the President, and difficulty being encountered at the state level, effective implementation of financial autonomy, both legislature. This goal is born out of genuine concern for effective accomplishment of the noble goals of the exercise and consideration of our rigorous efforts as resources committed for the exercise. This note, once again, thank the Senate Committee, Constitutional Review, this opportunity for us. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, the Chairman. Thank you very much, Chairman, Conference of Speakers. Permit me to recognize the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Dame.
Well, that was the Chairman of Conference of Speakers of State, who just gave his good message and gave the commitment of state legislatures in the ongoing constitutional review. Well, before him, the Deputy President of the Senate, Obi Omar Gege, who is also the Chairman of the Senate Committee of Constitutional Review, just gave his welcome address, where he assured Nigerians that the committee will actually make sure that the issues are reflected on the final outcome of the constitutional review process.
Your Excellency, I'd like to then invite very quickly the landlord of the Federal Capital Territory, Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Malam Mohammed Musa Bello, for his goodwill message. Honorable Minister, FCT, sir.
Excellency, President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawan, Excellency, the Deputy Senate President, Senator Obi Omar Gege, Chairman of the Senate Committee, the review of the 1919 Constitution, the representative of Chief Justice of the Federation, Your Lordship Justice Jembe Eko, leaders of the Senate, distinguished senators present here today, Your Excellencies, governors present here, members of the Federal Executive Council, speakers of the various states, House of Assemblies present here, and their members, head of the European Union delegation, and other members of the diplomatic corps, Your Royal Highnesses and Royal Fathers present here, permanent secretaries and heads of governments, agencies, distinguished participants, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the FCT administration, and indeed the entire citizens of our center of unity, the Federal Capital Territory, is with a deep sense of responsibility and profound appreciation of the significance of this moment in our nation's history that I deliver this brief goodwill message at the National Public Hearing by the Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution taking place here in Abuja. May I begin by welcoming to the FCT all of you that came from far and away in the country to be part of this very important national program. As you all are aware, the constitution of a country is without contention the heart and soul of that country and the foundation upon which its nationhood and sovereignty is anchored. It is the singular most important piece of document that determines how a nation is governed as agreed upon by the people themselves. That is why amendment in any way or manner is an enterprise that must be undertaken with the utmost seriousness and sincerity that it deserves. I therefore want to use this opportunity on behalf of all the residents of the FCT to commend the chairman and members of the Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution for the laudable manner at which it has carried out this assignment. Therefore, on behalf of the residents of the FCT, the Center of Nigeria's Unity, I wish to call on Nigerians making submissions to the Constitution amendment process to be guided by the principles of national unity, patriotism, and peaceful coexistence of all. The strength of our country, we must remind ourselves, lies in our diversity and the dynamism of our people. We should seize the opportunity provided by this exercise to strengthen our common bond as a people and guarantee the growth and development of our country. On this note, on behalf of the Center of Nigeria's Unity, the Federal Capital Territory, I thank you all and I wish us a very successful deliberation. Thank you.
Can we please give the FCT minister?
That was a good message by the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Musa Bello, who called on Nigerians making submission to rely on the principles of national unity.
Of the Senate, we welcome you. Having done that, Your Excellency, President of the Senate, Chairman of the National Assembly, permit me to stand on the already established protocol as I then, first of all, start by apologizing for wanting to invite one of our great supporters at this event to speak at this point. He ought to have spoken before the Honorable Minister. But please bear with us and indulge us, please, as I call very quickly Mr. Clement Nwango, the Executive Director, Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, PLAC, for his good message. Please, one round of applause for him. And may I also remind us that this program is being televised on the largest television network in Africa, the NTA. Thank you very much. Mr. Nwango.
Excellency, Senate President, Excellency Deputy Senate President, Chairman of the Senate Committee, distinguished senators, Honorable Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, speak on the exit, also join in offering goodwill to the Senate and indeed to the National Assembly as it goes around working in democratic environment, listening to citizens and through working towards ensuring citizens in this fifth alteration attempt by the National Assembly. Program, the Senate has already identified key concerns and key issues which is listed in the brochure that you. I think that when you look at all of it, covers a wide range of issues which Nigerians have continued to outline as being of concern to the Constitution. But it is instructive to note that in outlining the issues, the Senate had identified key issues, especially women participation. We do know that the Deputy Senate President, even the Senate President 2 or 3 weeks ago, had mentioned this as an issue of concern. And we know that there are several bills in the that in women participation. National Assembly will take very, very forward in terms of addressing numbers of women in legislation and participation governance. So that there are bills on temporary special measures to increase women participation. We also know that the issue of local government reform, an important issue. Local government system in the country almost collapsed. So we believe that the efforts that the Assembly made, the 7th and 8th Assembly, will be brought to fruition by this 9th Assembly. Local government will thrive as a system of government that this country will cherish. We also know that there are issues regarding judicial reform, electoral reform, and several other issues already outlined. The National Assembly knows that the Electoral Act is presently before it. All looking Senate assure us that the Electoral Act will be taken, concluded within this month of June, has been promised National Assembly. Public hearings are really very critical. It's really very good that the National Assembly has taken the issue of public hearings to citizens. Across the country, last week, the Senate did organize zonal hearings. The House of Representatives taking the issue, listening to citizens, are very important, and we think it's very delightful. Making all of this really the Constitution and for us have citizens, so we must commend for the zonal hearings, for the public hearings that's going on. A great commendations, Senate, and hopefully the House of Representatives comes through for national public hearing as well. Like I said, this will be the 5th alteration of the Constitution. Should the process conclude, do know that timing is really critical. And if the process is not concluded this, then it might actually be by politics that setting full team was the end. It's the very good chairman of the country here making his. We do know that there are critical elements in the passage of a form or amendment. We know that the president already has his interest in what is going on, that have been clearly and very well articulated by the Senate Committee, a review of the Constitution, very well driven by the Deputy Senate, able to drive home Constitution demand. Thank you.
Clapping is a bit scarce at this event, and it ought not to be. Very quick announcement. Those of you who wish to make presentations at this national public hearing are advised to go to the registration center and indicate in the registration center at the foyer, just as you're coming in here. Just as you're making your way into the auditorium, the foyer is where the registration center is. Permit me then to recognize the presence of distinguished Senator Sabi Abdullahi, Deputy Whip of the Senate. May I also recognize the presence of His Royal Highness the owner of Abuja, German Traditional Council, Federal Capital Territory, be represented here by His Royal Highness Shaba Abdul Nazozo III. A round of applause for them, please. As we also recognize the presence of Comrade Isa Aremu MNI, Director General Michael Imodu, National Institute for Labor Studies. We welcome you, sir. Having done those recognitions, Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to then invite the number 3 citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President of the Senate, Chairman of the National Assembly, distinguished Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, PhD, CON, Tadam at this point in time, to declare this all-important public hearing open. I'd like you to please join me in welcoming him to the rostrum with a very resounding applause, please. Your Excellency, the President of the Senate.
Your Excellency, Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Femi Badabamila, represented, my Lord, Chief Justice of Nigeria, represented, Deputy President of the Senate, Chairman, Senate Committee on Review of the 1999 Constitution, Obarishi Roboland, distinguished Senator Omo Agege, Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, represented, very distinguished senators present, honorable members present, my governor, the governor of your state, represented, the FCT minister, the landlord, and other ministers present, special guests seated here, our royal father, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I applaud the chairman and members of the Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution for successfully completing the zonal public hearings that held simultaneously in different parts of the country. Public hearings are indeed central to participatory democracy and the lawmaking process, especially in a constitutional amendment exercise that seeks to put citizens first. Senate therefore deemed it important to create avenues for the involvement of our Nigerian citizens. That's why we do not merely stop at inviting people to make written submissions, but have gone further to organize zonal hearings, give citizens greater opportunities to make inputs more than before. We all know our country has been consistently reminded that there are flaws in our Constitution. There is a deep concern among legislators and other stakeholders, just as there are divergent opinions on what we should do to remedy the flaws. There are broad-ranging agitations and constitutional amendment proposals for developing more powers to subnational governments, for resource control, greater representation and participation of women in governance and public life, return to the regional system of the post-independence era, creation of additional states and local governments, enhanced residency and indigenous rights, centralized policing, and local government autonomy, amongst others. While we have identified certain items as thematic areas, we are still open to engagement on any other relevant proposal, and we look forward to continuing discussions with stakeholders on all proposals in that regard. It is important to similarly note that agitations are democratic expressions and indications of dissatisfaction with our extant constitution. Honestly, engaging with each other amid a good faith is the best way forward. And at this point, I want to take this opportunity to appeal to all Nigerians, especially those that hold strong views, that what we need to do is to build consensus around those views, national consensus, and that is the hallmark
of statesmanship, and that's the best way to help the National Assembly and indeed the state legislatures to amend the Constitution as is desired. We recognize in the National Assembly that the underlying role of participative democracy is not to replace representative democracy, but to supplement it and make it function better. Therefore, there are no preconceived decisions on the outcome of the process. The final product will be shaped by the voices of citizens as harnessed from the hearings. Regardless, constitutional review alone will not engender a successful democracy without a commitment, without a concomitant shift in attitude and political will. It has to be backed by the requisite political will and the right attitude. Democracy demands the highest qualities of self-discipline, restraint, empathy, and willingness to commit, concede, and sacrifice for the general good. It consequently deliver presentations with deep thoughts, conviction, and foresight as against emotions in the overriding interests of the United Nations, where dignity and respect are in evidence. My brother, the Deputy President of the Senate, I'm very confident you and your committee will listen to every voice, reflect deeply on every argument, weigh every proposal and its rationale, and give due consideration to every contribution. Eventually, your recommendations should be guided by the imperatives of peace, unity, and progress of our dear nation. I commend the efforts of our Deputy President of the Senate and all members of the Constitutional Review Committee. I salute all our governors and speakers of State House Assembly and FCT Minister of Course and all of you present for your sacrifices. On this note, it is now my privilege to declare the public hearing open. God bless you all. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
We can do better than that with that round of applause for the number 3 citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That was the President of the Senate. The public hearing open. The President of the Senate, the National Assembly and Senate in particular, able to organize this public hearing to give citizens better opportunities to air their minds. He said that they are still open to other relevant areas which citizens might want to submit in addition to the already established thematic areas already listed. He also appealed to Nigerians to build their contributions towards national consensus. The President of the Senate promised that the final products will be shaped by people's voices and opinions.
Moving on, Your Excellency, may I then yield the microphone at this point in time to the Chairman, Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution, who doubles as the President, Deputy President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Ovie Omoagege. You may wish to operate from there, sir, if you so wish. Yes, sir. Please, let's give him a resounding applause as I hand over the microphone to him.
Thank you very much. Once again, President of the Senate, I want to thank you, depth of my heart, for that very rousing welcome speech. Now, I'm going to set the tone. If you check page 5 of the program, we have listed the issues for the public hearing. And they are 1, gender equity, / increased participation of women and vulnerable groups in governance. 2, the federal structure in governance and power devolution. 3, local government administration / local government autonomy. 4, public revenue, fiscal federalism, and revenue allocation. 5, constitutional provision for the establishment of state police. 6, judicial reform, adjudication of election and pre-election matters, and other justice delivery concerns. 7, electoral reforms that will make INEC deliver transparent, credible, free, and fair elections, political parties, independent candidature, and election management. 8. Socio-economic rights as contained in Chapter 2 of the Constitution. 9. Residency and indigenship. 10. Immunity, removal of same in prima facie criminal cases. 11. Timeline for assent of bills and passage of appropriation bill. 12. States and local government creation. 13. Strengthening the independence of institutions like the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Auditor General of the Federation, and Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. 14. FCT administration. 15. The legislature and legislative bureaucracy. 16. Constitutional role for traditional rulers. And indeed, as the SP just indicated, any other area to which people are interested, you'll be very free to speak to this. Now, we've received a lot of memos already. What we'll expect is that you just step forward when called upon, just speak to these memos. You don't need to go too much in detail, because we already have the detailed submissions. Just speak to them as briefly as possible, because we have so many people that want to make presentations. We would like to request that you make this in between 3 to 5 minutes. Now, having said that, how much ado, I'd like to invite the Honorable Justice Ejembi Eko, representing the Chief Justice of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to make this representation. Thank you and welcome, my Lord.
Thank you very much, the Deputy President of the Senate and Chairman of the Review of the 1999 Constitution of the Senate. We welcome distinguished Senator Yusuf and distinguished Senator Issa Jibril Echocho. And the presentations starts right now. I welcome the Chief Justice of Nigeria, my Lord, Honorable Justice Mohammed, ably represented here by Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Ejembi Eko, for the CJN's goodwill message.
Good morning. I have here Honorable Justice Mohammed. I read. I on behalf of this. On the review of the 1999 Constitution. Welcome all of you, national. Please pardon me. Take all protocols. Let me start by commending, congratulating the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and its National Assembly for its contributions to the growth of democracy and governance in our dear country. It has successfully reviewed, amended the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, herein after called the Constitution by the first, second, third, and fourth operation. I'm happy that the National Assembly is embarking on another round of all public and private institutions and well-meaning Nigerians should contribute important national assignment. I understand that the public hearing already took place at various zones across. The exercise, therefore, is being rounded up with the national public hearing in the headquarters of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. To us in the judiciary, charged with the constitutional duty of interpreting the and giving effect to the provisions and other laws of the land, we see this exercise as a golden opportunity. Mechanism and sexual and social. In this of the courts manifests in the region that are not democratic, such as the military region. Nigeria, court system has made ends stabilizing not only the democratic governance, but also the political, economic, social, and all important. The cause of discharging is faced with daunting challenges. The position of the judiciary as one of the institutions that serve as pillars on which the democracy and good governance rest underscores the importance for all stakeholders in the sphere of governance to ensure that we have a robust system of justice. Jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, section 32 and 233 of the Constitution, very wide. Nigerians guard and protect their rights jealously. The implication of this is that number of cases in our courts which go on appeal to the court rising. Situation makes the workload of the justices much and accounts for pending for fairly long time. There is an instance where a case lasted for 30 years from the trial to the litigant court had given long life. Such of Nigeria and other courts have been adopting measures for speedy hearing and disposal of cases, court and practice directions. Modern technologies are also employed to reduce waste of time. Services of hearing notice, text message, or SMS services. However, while the course contains challenges, we recall that the first time in the history, justices got the number of justices less than 6. One of the justices passed away. That one, that the matter of policy as provided under paragraph 10. 1. National Judicial Institute. National Judicial that was amended to enhance the in the judiciary of the country. Judiciary, which will be presented in due course of this public hearing. We hope this committee, the Senate, and the National Assembly will give favorable consideration to our input. While congratulating the National Assembly once more, I wish you God's guidance, protection, and of nation building. Thank you.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, speaking through the Lord Honorable Justice HMB. As well as persons, and of course we also want Representative Pora, represented here by Tamil. They will see. Thank you very much for coming. We now yield the microphone at this point in time to the chairman of the Committee of Senate Review of the 1999 Constitution. Your Excellency, Deputy President of the Senate, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my Lord, for that good message, which I believe also doubles as a presentation. Frankly, the issues you just alluded to, right, we're already looking into. Thank you very much. Now, having said that, I'd like to welcome the chairman of the conference of the State House of Assembly, represented by, I'm told, the presentation will be made by the Speaker of the Nigerian State House of Assembly. Please with the President. Thank you.
Just as he's making his way to the podium for his presentation, permit me to also recognize the presence of the distinguished Senator Ibrahim Gobir. I'd like to welcome you, sir.
Distinguished Mr. President, distinguished senators, permit me to speak on the protocols already established. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, our submission, which has been made, is based on 4 of the thematic areas. And we begin with the issue of strengthening the institution of the legislature and the judiciary. You will agree with me, sirs, that the current settlement on the issue of financial autonomy in Nigeria has brought untold hardship to people. And what we have done is to propose an amendment to Section 123, subsection 3 of the Constitution to insert provisions of Section 123, subsection 4. And this has to do with the issue of how the implementation of the financial autonomy should really be done. We have inserted the issue of the allocation committee for each state. We have also provided for how the accounts by the judiciary and the state assemblies are to be run. This essentially is what the amendment that is sought for in Section 123, subsection 4, by the Conference of Speakers, essentially to strengthen that institution. We have also proposed an amendment to Section 92, subsection C of the Constitution, by providing for, in line with our determination to strengthen the legislature, for the procedures and processes of removing the Speaker. Instead of the embarrassing situations we have always seen, the speakers deserve fair hearing, and not for just members to come up and move to the House and remove the Speaker without hearing from the Speaker. So we are providing procedures where the speakers should be heard and the allegation be properly investigated before, if found indicted, the Speaker is removed. In addition to that, sir, we have also called for amendment of Part 2 of the 3rd schedule of the Constitution, where you have state executive bodies, because the State House of Assembly Service Commissions are not included in view of the need to have autonomy in the state assemblies. The State House of Assembly Service Commissions need to be included in that schedule where you have state executive bodies. We have also proposed an amendment to Chapter 1, Part 2, Section 5 of the Constitution, calling for state police. And we have called for a new subsection 2C to read that there shall be vested with power to establish police and other security services under a law of the House of Assembly, which provides for the establishment, structure, composition, finance, and other matters connected therewith. Devolution of powers is also an area where we have also proposed an amendment, and we have identified areas, mineral resources, mining, geological survey, and other. We have also looked at the issue of labor and related matters, aviation, drugs, and poison. In this regard, sir, distinguished excellencies and audience, we have also said that it should not only devolve to states. Some of these issues can also devolve to the local government areas. And finally, in our proposal, we have also looked at the need to strengthen the local government administration. This amendment is aimed at enhancing service delivery at the local government, at the grassroots. Thank you very much, distinguished Excellencies guests.
Thank you very much. Speaker, criminal call on our landlord, Minister of the Federal Capital. Presentation. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, Excellency, Vice President of the Senate, other protocols duly observed. Your Excellency and members of the audience, our presentation basically going to touch on item number 14 on the list, that is the FC administration. And it's a very simple presentation. Basically, what we want to reaffirm and reconfirm and applaud is the position of the founding fathers that created the Federal Capital Territory as a center of unity for this very beautiful, great country. It's only one location in Nigeria where once you come in, it is home. Nobody cares where you were born, when you were born, who born you, and all these other related. It's a place where everybody is a citizen and everybody is a resident. And I think this is what should resonate in Nigeria. We should now know that we are one indivisible country, created by God Almighty. And once we agree on that, and we cement that, and we develop that, then the sky is going to be our limit. Basically, this is the background of our presentation. But as you know, the Federal Capital Territory is an area of 8,000 square kilometers, divided into two basic entities. The Federal Capital City, which is about 250 square kilometers, and then the remaining 7,750 square kilometers. So to strengthen the administration, it's very important that some aspects of the Constitution needs to be amended so that the position of the Federal Capital City should be clearly appreciated, so that laws and regulations and permits and everything that you do with respect to governance should be vested in the Federal Capital Territory administration in the area designated as the Federal Capital City. And in so doing, it then becomes very important to amend Section 7 of the Constitution and insert, especially as you know, and insert a section, maybe 7.5, that will say the functions to be conferred by law upon area councils may include those set out in the first schedule of this Constitution, and where so conferred shall be performed outside the Federal Capital City. So that once there is a distinction, then within the Federal Capital City, there will be no two authorities. What happens now is, as we have stated here, if the Senate President is driving out, if not because of his police escorts, a staff of a local government can stop him and ask him whether he has paid his 100 naira development levy. So I think these are things that should not be handled in the Federal Capital City. Or for instance, a diplomatic vehicle be passing and somebody called a marshal that is supposed to be collecting revenue from taxes will stop you and say, why is your bill? Or you go to a senator's house and say, I have come to collect television license fees. And if you don't do that, based on the Constitution, because the law says that the area councils or local governments are those to collect TV and license fees, then the courts will give judgment and the house of the senator or the minister or the messenger will be padlocked by a consultant simply because he have not paid television license. So we need to have this very clear-cut distinction. 2,050 square kilometers is territory called Federal Capital City, and it's going to be run under the Federal Capital Territory. Then all other areas out of that demarcation can then have these laws applied. So basically, this is what we think. If that is done, it will reduce the duplicity of roles, conflict, and mismatches in planning, provision of infrastructure, and service delivery within the Federal Capital Territory. The proposed amendment is aimed at addressing the aforementioned problems. And of course, the area councils, which in other parts of the Constitution are considered as local government areas, will continue with their roles. However, this will be outside area demarcated as the Federal Capital City. Secondly, Excellency, distinguished members, we also propose that Section 301 of the Constitution should also be amended so that reference to persons, offices, and authorities of a state, where references to the persons, offices, and authorities of Federal Capital Territory Administration with like status, designations, and powers respectively. Because the current position is, while Section 299 considers the SC as if it were a state, some of these offices that are so critical are not well defined, and there is a gray area which brings some misunderstandings from time to time. And that is why the current provision does not give full effect to Section 99 of the Constitution. As such, it requires an amendment that will effectively empower Federal Capital Territory Administration functionaries to discharge their responsibilities statutorily, included but not limited to those specified by presidential orders and other amendments that may come from time to time. Thirdly, with respect to the demarcation of the Federal Capital City, as so earlier indicated, from the other areas, then obviously the present location of the Abuja Metropolitan Area Council from Garki will have to move to some other area outside the geographical entity earmarked as Federal Capital City. So this, and then finally, Your Excellency, it's very important that we propose that the Constitution to recognize and define an adequate and unhindered funding source for the Federal Capital City. Because of what I earlier said, this is a place carved out 41 years ago for all of us, a place whereby everybody feels at home, and it's a home, all of us, where nobody will say is a citizen or non-citizen. We are all citizens, but funding is a big challenge. And this is so, because up to now, the city, even 41 years after creation, work in progress. And I will give you one or two examples. And basically, of course, like I earlier said, Abuja, like any other city in Nigeria, is home to a multitude of residents, which provides a common identity, common access, and common citizenship for Nigerians, irrespective of location, state, or creed. As it is presently constituted, the Federal Capital Territory is made up of 196 districts, already earmarked and planned, which includes 92 districts in the Federal Capital City itself, and another the balance in the other area councils. Since the establishment of the FCT in 1976, only 10 districts have been fully developed with infrastructure. 12 districts partially developed, and 70 districts undeveloped. The 140 districts area councils which make up the other part of the FCT are yet to be developed. Yet, every day, whoever comes to Abuja never goes back. And after the cycle of elections, after every 4 years, new ministers come in, a substantial part of the National Assembly are new members, new executive, new officers. Everybody comes with his people and automatically settles in Abuja and becomes a city. So if we do not constitutionally provide very viable funding option for the city, I'm afraid to say that in times to come, Abuja will just become one mega slump. So it's very important that we ratio. And finally, distinguished President of the Senate, distinguished Deputy Senate President, Abuja, the federal capital city, is still essentially a work in progress, and a lot more could have been achieved if and only if a robust and well-structured funding arrangement had been established and guaranteed by the Constitution. The absence of a guaranteed funding for the provision and maintenance of infrastructure left it ultimately, like I earlier said, translate to birthing a huge urban. I rest my case. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I now call on the National Chairman of APC, Governor of Yobe State, ably represented here by Professor Tahir Maman, to make. Thank you.
His Excellency, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ahmed, the Senate, President of the Senate, Chairman of the Obium, distinguished senators. I am here on behalf of Chairman All Progressive Party, National Caretaker, All Progressive Party presents a combination of goodwill message and a few remarks on the constitution process. Your Excellency, the party wants to commend the leadership and indeed the National Assembly for embarking on this very important venture. The final product of a constitution is as important as the process which it follows. And we have seen that a constitution which goes through a public hearing like this is more likely to gain greater acceptability by the people and gain more from the wisdom of the people in general. Now, this exercise would have come actually at a later time when our dear country is witnessing some notable tension and significant discussions. Now, as a party, it is a matter of joy that this exercise coming at a time when the APC is in power and in control of both the executive and legislative arms of government. It is significant for the reason that the process and ultimate provisions of the Constitution can easily benefit from the progressive agenda of the party, such that the issues or aspects of the Constitution that will be of critical interest to the common man and majority of society rather than a privileged few will receive adequate attention. Furthermore, it needs to be emphasized that the progressive democratization of Nigeria from amalgamation in 2014 onwards had always been through a periodic incremental review of existing constitutions where there was a clear need and there were emerging issues. This committee is therefore following a well-checkered historical route which would serve the country well. At different stages of this evolution, Nigeria had experienced various needs, and the constitutional amendments had always been the route following discussions, deliberations, and debates by representatives of the people. Appropriate structures and institutions were passion to address those concerns. The legislature, with its state counterparts, are without doubt the organs with the authority and appropriate powers to alter the provisions of the Constitution in areas where there is a need and sufficient consensus captured in Section 9 of the Constitution. In similar regard, the APC had in the past set up a very powerful committee led by His Excellency Governor Nasir El-Rufai to deliberate and make proposals on the raging issues of restructuring the Nigerian Federation. We believe the deliberations and conclusions of the committee will be helpful in this exercise, and the party therefore commends the recommendations of that committee for consideration. It is also important to consider if we mention one or two issues, whether we need a two-tier or three-tier federation with various options already captured. Furthermore, to ensure that all levels of government in the federation, as may be agreed upon, have a clear framework with regard to the goals and directions of governance, Chapter 2 on fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy need to receive a refocus to ensure that government at all levels focus on things which affect greater majority of Nigerians. This touch on how lean a government should be at all the levels, so that all the resources available can now be poured back into the service for the country. For instance, the government of President Muhammad Buhari, in collaboration with the National Assembly, had in the last 6 years introduced numerous policies, schemes, and institutions to bring focus to and mitigate the plight of the common man. These schemes are in line with the provisions of this chapter. They need to be strengthened. Finally, as Democrats, this exercise should take deeper reflections on all the institutions that underscore our democratic processes and rule of law, such as the political parties, what number and role, because we know as a matter of fact, the number of parties which have come to a source of confusion to the electorate. The judiciary, its structure in a reviewed federation, and its autonomy, and its autonomy, resources and structure in a reviewed federation. We know the role of state institutions, state electoral bodies, and the controversies which usually go along with actions conducted by it. And then they place a responsibility for traditional institutions, indeed their relationship with other tiers of government. These and many issues you have already identified are indeed very germane for the democratic process, and therefore we commend for their consideration. The APC gives the assurance that it will give all the appropriate support to ensure the success of this exercise. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Chairman, just before you come on, permit me to warmly recognize the presence of distinguished Senator Abubakar Kyari, distinguished Senator Yahya Ibrahim Olori-Egbe, distinguished Senator Yakubu Oseni, distinguished Senator Gershom Bassi, distinguished Senator Lekon Mustafa, distinguished Senator Comrade Abba Moro, distinguished Senator Theodore Orji, as well as the President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, represented here at this event by Barrister Otera Chibwe, Barrister Comfort Otera Chibwe. We welcome you. Having done that, I'd like to also speak to those other persons that will be invited by the chairman of the committee to come for their presentations. Because the presentations have already been submitted, you are expected to summarize. So please try as much as possible to summarize within 3 minutes in the first instance. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Mama, for standing in for National Chairman. And I call on Mr. Adolphus Agugu the Auditor General of the Federation for his presentation. Thank you.
Your Excellency, distinguished Senator Dr. Amalawa, Senate President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, I want to observe existing protocol. I start by in the issue number 13 here, threatening institution. Office of the Auditor General mentioned there. We are very grateful because this is the best way to go when we realize the international best practices as presented through United Nations General Assembly resolutions, that in an attempt to enhance or promote the efficiency, accountability, effectiveness and transparency of public administration, the number one requirement or among the key requirements is strengthening the supreme audit institutions. I'm standing here speaking on behalf of both the Auditor General's Office of the Federation and that of the state offices. We have presented our paper, submitted it, and we want to say that there are some of the sessions we believe, if authored, will strengthen the office. One is, you look at the mandate given to the Office of the Auditor General in subsection 2 of 85, as against subsection 3 of 85. Then you look at the other area we live, if authored, we strengthen our office. The timing of reporting, the Auditor General has 90 days within which to submit the report, but the time at which we get the report from the Accountant General is not stated there. We believe that if it's stated as we propose, within 6 months, at the end of financial year, the reports will reach us for us to do our work. Finally, we want to summarize our prayers. The amendment will require the issue of a federal audit service as well as state audit service. That will strengthen us by bringing us out of the civil service, in which case, as we currently operate, the office has its appointment, promotion, and discipline being handled by agency that we audit. So we believe that if we are privileged as other superior audit institutions to have federal audit service, we will be able to be more independent administratively as well as financial independence if allowed to operate on through first line charge. We probably believe that the specific sessions we have mentioned as will be required for operations. There are about 5 sessions, both federal and state. The issue of being under federal executive bodies, we have Federal Audit Service under test schedule, pass 1 and 2. Then we believe that by that, the office will be strengthened. We only request or pray that if the audit deal, among others, are passed, the audit deal is passed and they are accepted to, the conduct of
Mr. Agunu, please. I'm sorry, I have cut you short. Give you 3 minutes and it's 3 minutes. You've made your submissions. We have the submissions. We give you 3 minutes to speak to it and no more. Thank you very much. Please round up.
Okay. In rounding up, please, I want to say that the prayers are contained on page 9 of what we have presented already. And we very much want to comment this public hearing that is in line with United Nations General Assembly resolutions, passed 2011 and 2014 respectively, strengthening the audits. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, going forward, the assumption is that everyone who is here today has made his or her submissions. We're just asking that you come in here and just speak to it for 3 minutes and no more. Thank you very much. Having said that, let me invite our sister, Dr. Obi Ezekiel Sili, for our presentation. And it's 3 minutes, it's 3 minutes.
I wish to recognize the President, Senate, the Deputy Senate President, Chair of this very important event. I represent a citizens group known as Fix Politics, which is a research-based initiative with work study groups. Our country is a giant currently trapped in the cloak of a dwarf. Structural issues hobble our country badly, and therefore making it difficult for us to translate our well-known endowments into reality of a prosperous, inclusive society. 2 socio-political issues that we must solve and solve quickly. Effective management of our diversity on the principles of justice, equity, inclusion, and equality of opportunity. The second one is the management of our federation into a country that transforms to a nation. We are trapped in the identity as a country, and we currently are struggling to even remain a country without transforming into a nation. 2 deepest economic problems that we must solve: productivity problem and poor competitiveness problem. And the fact that we have been unable to solve these problems have meant that we cannot maximize our human resources to create inclusive growth and prosperity. Therefore, we must acknowledge that we are in a historical moment of crisis, which can also be a moment of opportunity. When crisis once faced us, we had to innovate the doctrine of necessity in this country. Most men and women would rather deny a hard truth than face it. That shouldn't us any longer. Therefore, Mr. Chairman of this occasion, the Fixed Politics Initiative demands that we should use this serious crisis and not let it go to waste. Why? The maturing of our democracy is dependent on us admitting that the current 1999 Constitution has passed its sell-by date, has given us all it can give us. We need to center the citizens in our democracy. We need to move from country to nation. Therefore, this is our submission. Call for a big tent conversation around the single issue amendment for a referendum and a referendum commission for our deliberation on a new constitution for the country. We need to publicly agree a constituting of a representative new constitution conference. We need to inaugurate a national conversation to agree the participation, the process, and the agenda issues for the new constitution. We need to then complete the national conversation and distill it into referendum items for all citizens to vote on. And then we need to return that to the National Assembly. What we ask the National Assembly to do therefore is to single issue amend the Constitution to allow for referendum by the citizens of this country. I end on this note. If you are neutral in situation of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If an elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse, and you say that you are neutral, the mouse will not appreciate your neutrality. Nigerian citizens will not appreciate the neutrality of our political class while the country suffers and its citizens are shocked at the absence of leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for your brilliant presentation. I will now call on the representative of the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs. I believe PAMSEC is Ambassador Dr. Antonia Ekpa, to make a presentation on behalf of the Minister. Thank you.
Please, in the same vein, you are expected, ma'am, to please stand on the existing protocol and speak to your paper very quickly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My minister sends regards to his unavoidably absent. I'll go right down to the points. High table. The minister directs that we represent the following. That the ministry is speaking on behalf of the collective of women of this country, and that what we are representing this morning and presenting is what she terms what the Nigerian women want. Nigerian women want equality in the presentation of the wealth, but more importantly, Nigerian women stand with other Nigerians collectively to ask for a review of the Nigerian Constitution of 1999 as amended. And basically, Nigerian women want to posit that the expression we the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, represent Nigerian women as well, who form 50% of the entire population of this country, and who are contributing maximally to her economic well-being. Nigerian women want to ensure that we ensure equality, equitable women representation in government. It is important that the Constitution is reviewed to provide for at least 35% women representation in appointive offices at the federal and state levels. This will begin with an amendment of Section 14, subsection 3, that prohibits predominance of persons from a few states, ethnic or sectional groups in the composition of the government and its agencies, to also introduce a prohibition of the predominance of any sex in the composition of the government and its agencies. Also, Section 14.4 of Section 4 introduces the equitable representation of both sexes in the composition of government at state, local government councils, or any of its agencies. Other sections for reference include Section 147, subsection 3, 171, subsection 5, 192, section 2, and 208, section 4. Nigerian women also request that we create additional special seats for women in the federal and state legislative houses by altering, among other sections in the Constitution, Section 48 of the Principal Act, to be altered by substituting the existing Section 48 with a new Section 48 composing the Senate. The Senate shall consist 3 senators from each state and 1 from the Federal Capital Territory, and an additional senator for each state and for the Federal Capital Territory, who shall be a woman. Nigerian women also request that Section 49 of the Principal Act be altered by substituting the existing Section 49 with a new Section 49, composition of the House of Representatives. Subject to the provisions of the Constitution, the House of Representatives shall consist of 360 members representing constituencies of nearly equal population, as far as possible, provided that no constituency shall fall within more than one state. And Section 71 of the Principal Act be altered by inserting immediately, after subsection 1A and B, new subsections 2 and 3. On senatorial districts and constituencies, Nigerian women request that subject to the provisions of Section 72 of the Constitution, the Independent National Electoral Commission shall provide each section and the state. And on direct election and franchise, Nigerian women want to be fairly represented. The federal character policy also should take into cognizance the gender issues. And finally, Nigerian women are representing and requesting that the language of the Constitution itself, which appears to be gendered and non-representative of the female gender, be reviewed and considered. All other sections have been presented in our full memorandum. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ma. Permit me, Your Excellency, to recognize Distinguished Senator Betty Abiafi, Distinguished Senator Professor Ike Kurma, the former Deputy President of the Senate. Welcome you, sir. The Chairman. Okay, please let's give standing ovation for His Excellency, the President of the Senate. Because of the exigencies of his office, he has to attend to some of the very burning issues, but the proceedings will continue as he takes his leave. We want to beg on every other person and plead with every other person that will be coming this way for presentations to please stand on the already established protocol, and because your memorandums have been submitted to the Secretariat already, you're expected for your presentation to just summarize as much as you can. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, wish you a very pleasant day ahead, sir. Thank you. Just as the President of the Senate is leaving and being seen off by a few senators, the rest of us will stay back. And also to announce that the PAMSEC FCT is here, Mr. Olushola Adeshola. We'd like to welcome you. Thank you very much for coming, sir. The chairman of the committee will continue with the proceedings of this national public hearing. Please, may we be seated. Thank you very much. Please, let's be seated, please. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir.
The House is called to order. Let me now call on the representative of the Magistrates Association of Nigeria to make their presentation. Thank you.
Representative Magistrates Association of Nigeria. Is he here?
Is he here?
Yes, sir. He's making his way to the podium, sir. Please summarize and stand on the existing protocol. Thank you.
Please permit me to stand on the existing protocols. My name is the Chief Magistrate Idris National President of Magistrates Association of Nigeria. I'm standing on behalf of all the magistrates across the country, including the FCT Abuja. We felt that Section 318 has created an imbalance of members. It was one of the things that preoccupied the minds of magistrates ever since the inception of the Nigerian Constitution. This section. Although we are treated as neither humans nor mammals, just like bat. Have a same code of conduct that all judicial officers provide case of every magistrate. This code of conduct puts the magistrate and the judges of the Superior Court. When it comes to remuneration, are treated as civil servants. Our salaries, time and benefit, always come from the. We felt that by ending this section, include magistrate and judicial officers, solve this problem. Secondly, there is the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. This law would define the terms of the area. The Criminal Procedure Code is not the Criminal Procedure Act. Merges the two laws and became one single law applicable to out the federation. One of the core critical stakeholders are four: courts, prisons, and Attorney General. Under that law, only criminal courts, as defined by the judicial section, high courts and magistrate. High courts are treated by the NGs, whereas the magistrate. The name of the prisons has been changed to correctional centers. The police, their salaries, their package, and also the prisons. But with the magistrates are not the same. So one of the appalling issues that under that section 13 of the law provides that chief magistrate pay inspection visits to police stations, all the stations, but the laughing issue is that the officers that you report to earn more wages than the magistrate. You cannot have a conversation about taking care of the magistrate. Magistrates are so much principal actors in justice. So we felt that session left many things undesired just of the magistrate. I want to be quoted explicitly that the magistrates are not equating themselves with high court judges, other superior court, but rather we subscribe to an oath of judicial office. We use warrants, and our judicial oath same with that of the high court judges. So that is a need to be paying our wages commensurate to our calling and with our practices. There are some trades, other things that the magistrate cannot do. Once you do, say, you are a judicial officer. How can you do that? At the same time, if you well down to the citizenry, you cannot be as civil servants. Most of our members are practicing not only judicial, as there are conscious, mobile courts and other courts. Some of our members last year have faced difficulties. To bear me witness that some magistrate courts are the ones trying to default us of COVID-19. Most of our members have been infected. There is no provision at all for our police. We have been treated the same allowance with our police audit. I assured you that in some states in this country, I don't support it. Chief magistrate earns less than 200. Whereas the inspector of the police cell earns more than him. Somehow, we appeal urge this committee to have us in our constitution. We are ready to contribute our quota. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. May I now call Professor Osareme Osumbo to make his presentation, and also alert Barrister Umaru Abdullahi of the Revenue Mobilization Commission to be prepared to step forward immediately after Professor Osumbo. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Permit me to recognize very quickly before Professor Osumbo takes the microphone the presence of His Royal Highness King Dr. Ambassador Apollos Chu, the Egbere Okiri I, Onene Nchia of Eleme Kingdom, Rivers State, and he also doubles as the Chairman Interfaith Commission for the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria on the Constitutional Review. We welcome you, sir. Professor Osumbo, sir.
Thank you. All protocols duly observed. The chairman of the Senate Committee of the Constitution, Deputy President of the Senate, in his goodwill message, mentioned the fact that the will of the people is the foundation of democracy. I cannot agree less with him. How do you ascertain the will of the people? It is through elections. The power to determine what the will of the people is vested by the Constitution on INEC. The Constitution provides a number of steps that INEC would have to take in order to ascertain the will of the people, because that is the foundation of democracy. The consent of the governed is what confers legitimacy on whoever, on the government. So any emergence of political office holders in a manner that does not reflect the will of the people puts a question on the legitimacy of government. And the will of the people is usually will of the majority. That is why when INEC has conducted elections, then collate and announce that Mr. A of so and so party, having scored the highest number of votes and satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Sadly, however, we have seen in Nigeria that where INEC has done all the needful and declared Mr. A winner of the election, the tribunal or courts would step in to say, no, Mr. A is not the winner of the election, it is Mr. B that won the election. And this is usually done by nullifying votes of people or saying that voters running into hundreds of thousands have wasted their votes. And yet, these voters relied on the ballot paper supplied by INEC, upon which they indicated their consent. So, when a situation emerges where somebody who did not score the highest number of votes is declared and does not enjoy the consent of the majority of the people, emerges to exercise governmental powers, as I said before, it casts doubt on the legitimacy size of governmental power. And let me say that the African Charter, Section 13 of the African Charter of Human and People's Rights, gives every person, in this case, voters, the right to participate in their government directly or by choosing the representatives in government. So every situation where the votes of the people are nullified or regarded as wasted, in my opinion, that impinges or disenfranchises those people and violates Article 13 of the Human and People's Rights. The Sixth National Assembly actually saw the flaw in the current laws and attempted to cure it by inserting Section 140 subsection 2 of the Electoral Act, which you have. The Electoral Act, which we all have, Section 140 subsection 2, says that where an election tribunal or court nullifies an election, it grants that the person who obtained the highest votes at the election was not qualified to contest the election, or that the election was marred by substantial irregularities or non-compliance with the provisions of the Act, the election tribunal or court shall not declare the person with the second highest vote or any other person as elected, but shall order fresh election. However, the courts have nullified this as an attempt to whittle down the powers of the courts. However, if it is made a constitutional provision, then in my view, the courts have no option to obey it. So that where an election is nullified, they cannot then go and pick number 2 or number 3 or number 5 as the winner, but must ask us to go back and vote, especially where the voters themselves have not been faulted. It wasn't their fault. It was because they relied on a ballot paper supplied by INEC and they came out, trooped out to vote. Their votes count. And we say every vote must count. Where votes are nullified, can you say that every vote is counting? So my submission is that every vote counts. And there are a number of people who have spoken in support of the position, former President Jonathan and a number of other people. So I have proposed a provision for the amendment of the Constitution to bring Section 140 into the Constitution that it made. And then I made reference in my petition to judgment of the Federal Appeal Court in the U.S. Let me just quote that and it says voters, not lawyers, choose the president. Ballots, not briefs, decide election. That was a statement by a judge in Pennsylvania as elected. And then, supposing there's how do you ensure that INEC does abuse? Propose a National Assembly can sanction INEC officials who are found to have violated their oath of office and compromised the integrity of the election. And I draw an analogy from the National Population Act, where if an election is census is held to be perverse or incorrect, the sanction would be for the chairman of National Population Commission and the members to lose their office. But it is not for anybody. Substitute different figures just announced. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Permit me, Mr. Chairman, to welcome distinguished Senator Rochas Owele Anayo Rocha. Thank you very much for coming, sir. A round of applause for him. Welcome, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Osumbo, for a very brilliant presentation. And I invite Barrister Umaru Alai, Revenue Mobilization and Allocation of Food Commission, and also it's an opportunity to ask His Royal Highness, King Dr. Ambassador Ulus Ju,
Mr. Chairman,
of Ileme Kingdom, River State, who is standing as Chairman of Interface Committee, National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria, on the Constitutional Review. Immediately after that, Your Royal Highness, you may wish to make a presentation. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I do stand on the present protocol, which I do respect, observe. The Revenue Mobilization and Allocation and Fiscal Commission, which has already submitted its paper, would like to emphasize on the following. 1. Paragraph 32 of the third schedule be amended by adding paragraph F of the same schedule, whereby Commission will be allowed to use exact words used by the Supreme Court in saying monitoring includes, among others, detection, auditing, checking, policing, and arrest. Not only for public, also private organizations. This has to be done because of our recent experience where some organizations that accrue funds to the Federation account to hold behind for years without payment of such funds to the Federation account. But when the Commission goes to find out, another regulatory agency says the Commission doesn't have that power. Mr. Chairman, the second one is the enforcement of the same Constitution and law. We would like the Commission to be allowed not only to supervise, monitor the organizations, but also to be encouraged by additional funds, whereby at least the monitoring funds should also be increased. That can easily be done under the Constitution by allowing the National Assembly to amend laws that created the Revenue and Mobilization Commission. Our third request is the separation of the office of the Federal Accountant General to have two offices. One, Accountant General for the Federation and Accountant General for the Federal Government. We have also made a presentation in our paper whereby the Federal Government IGR will be improved, likewise that of the states. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. May I invite His Royal Highness to make his presentation, please? And also take this opportunity to alert Comrade Ayuba Weber, the President of the Labour Congress, to please prepare to step forward after His Majesty's presentation. Thank you.
The chairman, Constitutional Review Committee of the National Assembly of the Senate, the Deputy Speaker, Deputy Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and other members of the distinguished senators here present. I'm here to stand. Let me stand on an existing protocol because of time. I'm here to talk about and to represent the traditional rulers of Nigeria. The last few months ago, we were in the Senate to present our submission, which we have submitted our position. I'm just here to strengthen the position of the role of traditional rulers to be included in the amendment of the Constitution of Nigeria. Let us understand that traditional rulers have nothing to drag in with politicians, but we are supposed to be. We are standing behind as the father of the house and the father of the land to play a adversary role to our sons and daughters who are in offices of trust. And we should all know that when there's any crisis or there's any trouble, and the last hope of any administration in this country is traditional rulers. When any administration lost control of the society, they fall back to traditional rulers. Even when we have projects, any administration want to run down various projects in their very local communities, they first of all entrust the project to traditional rulers to protect and encourage the contractors to carry out the project. We can't do anything without traditional rulers who own the land, who have the way of coordinating the people, the subject. Let us take an instance of the insecurity across the country these days. It's not on the interest of anybody. We want to promote, when the Inspector General of Police wanted to promote the community policing, they fall back to traditional rulers. Everything we do, both on individual, we are a politician, after you play your politics or serve your tenure, you come back home to your father, who is traditional ruler. But you can understand that traditional rulers, before this time, we were included in the Constitution of Nigeria. But in 1977 or thereabout, we were removed from the Constitution of Nigeria. If we are not included or formally be empowered by the Constitution of Nigeria to spell out our role and our functions and what we could do to support the country and every administration that may come on board, then you see that we are just handicapped. You cannot pull out the wing, the feathers of a bird, and expect that bird to fly. So they will disarm traditional rulers and expect them to play a role, to perform, to deliver. Everything about this country, any role or social services you want to play, Constitution provides you a line item where the role you should play and what you're expected to do. But traditional ruler is totally silent in the Constitution of Nigeria. So our submission is to appeal to the Mr. Chairman to ensure that for the interest of the country, we are not doing any favor to traditional rulers as individuals, but we are doing ourselves a favor when we entrust them with certain level of power. Before this time, traditional rulers have a way of gathering intelligence. But if you're not going to carry out some certain position, you could be quoted by the law that you are not mandated to do so. And for that, traditional rulers are careful in playing certain role that ordinary should do, but if the law today will include them, then the law empower them to carry out certain position. If you also look at our wives, they also created the Ministry of Women Affairs to them. They are really recognized in the Federal Executive Council. Our daughters and our son, they are also recognized in the Youth Ministry of Youth Affairs in the Federal Executive Council. But the fathers of the land are not even recognized. They are not part of the positions of the day-to-day running of the government of the Federal Executive Council. I will appeal to the chairman that in your submission and your recommendation, may you people recommend that in the federal level we should have a ministry of chieftaincies affairs, because already in existence in the state levels and the local government level. Thank you.
Thank you, Majesty. And I call on Comrade Baba to come forward.
Once he's making his way, Mr. Chairman, permit me to recognize the presence of distinguished Senator Mohammed Adamu Alero, distinguished Senator Francis Ademihena, distinguished Senator Olubumi Adetumbi, and distinguished Senator Francis Ibezim. We welcome all of you. The NLC President, sir.
Thank you. Takes microphone. Just allow Dr. Jake Ipele, presenting the Beauty Consortium, to please step forward after President of Congress. Thank you very much. Sir.
Mr. Chairman, other distinguished senators, let me try to respect all existing protocols. Mr. Chairman, I stand here to represent 7 million direct members of NLC with 47 affiliates covering all the nooks and crannies of this country, both in the formal, informal, and public sectors of our economy. And therefore, I request for your special protection, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, because we don't want all the 49 affiliates to come and speak here, and that's why I'm trying to consolidate.
Not only are you protected, I'm actually giving you 5 minutes and not 3.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the Nigerian Labour Congress is a pan-Nigerian organization that represents the interest of every shade of opinion in our polity. And that is why our approach, issues of national development have been guided by cohesion, the issue of justice, fairness, and equity. I've tried to categorize my presentation into two. One is on core labor issues and issues of socio-economic, cultural, and political issues. Mr. Chairman, on core labor issues, of recent there have been some recommendations to move labor and minimum wage from the and I think it's very important to take this foundation why those two issues are actually independently. Globally, Mr. Chairman, labor matters are governed by international labor standards. As prescribed by International Labour Organization, those international labor standards are adopted by international labor conventions. And gladly, Nigeria is a member state of the International Labour Organization, the first agency of the United Nations, which was formed in 1919 after the First World War. To date, Mr. Chairman, Nigeria has ratified 40 international conventions of the ILO, and already 26 are fully enforced, demonstrated by the National Assembly. And importantly, the 8 core conventions that deals with labor, freedom of association, the right to organize, including the issue of minimum wage, all have been ratified by the National Assembly and also demonstrated in our national laws. It will therefore be anomalous, incongruous, and contemptible of global standard
and to even contemplate removing labor from the exclusive list, this will be tantamount to renouncing Nigeria's ratification of those conventions and repudiating Nigerian membership of the International Labour Organization. So therefore, I submit that on the basis of these facts, Your Excellencies, labor and minimum wage shall continue to be on the exclusive list. Let me also try to guide you on the national minimum wage. As we have said time without number, the minimum wage is also guided by a convention, Convention number 26 of the International Labour Organization, which Nigeria have domesticated many years ago in 1971. The national minimum wage is also not imposed on states. It's a process. All the governors are represented by one governor for each of the geopolitical zones at the negotiation table. So also employers of labor in the organized private sector, medium and small-scale enterprises, and therefore all the factors are considered: ability to pay, the cost of living, inflation, all those factors were presented. And happily, Rocha was a member that represents some of his governors from his region on that committee and many other governors. This has been the process. And therefore, the 30,000 naira that was agreed was not imposed on anybody by federal government. Was the process allowed by law that was adopted. So at this point, to say, well, remove it, minimum wage, because of federalism, is also false. As I speak to 26 federal states across the world, including the United States of America and Germany, practice federalism for 200 years, have minimum wage that in their national laws. In our document, those issues have been made very clear. Minimum wage is about setting a minimum benchmark for all the employers of labor actually implement so that workers are not exploited. That's the principle. As I speak to you, the whole of Europe is now considering a minimum wage for the whole of Europe because of the issue of migration, countries where they have favorable and higher minimum wage. Mr. Chairman, this is a preamble, and those have been captured in our document. On the other issues which we are speaking on is the issue of local government autonomy, independence of the judiciary and the legislature, arm of government, socio-economic and cultural rights, including the reforms that are needed in the judiciary, the electoral system, the issue of immunity clause, and also the issue of state creation, including local government creation, and a new revenue sharing formula that is also desirable. On the local government autonomy, Chairman, our position is very explicit. On full autonomy for local government, so that they can be recognized as third-tier government, both economically and politically, so that they can be able to play their role successfully. With also a caveat to ensure that the salary of primary school teachers is guaranteed. On the judiciary, there is no doubt that judiciary is an arm of government. And therefore, we need also full autonomy, especially for autonomy, so that they can play their role effectively. Same with the state legislators. That reform, Mr. Chairman, what have been said about this? We want a situation that the vote of every woman and the vote of every man will count. One man, one vote, one woman, one vote. And therefore, the development of technology, very, very important, make sure that we are able to also reform our electoral system. In the very important issue that the former governor of Edo State don't want to repeat that. On the socio-economic right, we demand that the right enshrined in Chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution under review should also be made justiciable. And on the issue of gender, a lot have said about that. Want them also to be mainstream, including provision for special in the two chambers of the National Assembly to also provide for this very special group. Mr. Chairman, on the issue of immunity, Labour demand that all elected public officers, holders should not enjoy immunity from prosecution on criminal cases. Let me repeat, criminal cases. But we allow that on civil cases, so that they are not distracted from office, we can have such an immunity. This is what is applied globally, and therefore Nigeria should not be an exception. And on residency and individual issue, this issue has been led very clearly also. We adopt what we have agreed because NLC also participated in the 2014 conference, in the amendment process of the 7th and 8th National Assembly, and all the issues I've quoted have been the position that NLC have laid, and all those positions have been upheld, including the issue of co-labor issues that I've said. On the issue of abolition power, lastly, Your Excellency, on the socio-economic right, we demand that the right enshrined in Chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution under review should also be made justiciable. And on the issue of gender, a lot has been said about that. Want them also to be mainstream, including provision for special in the two chambers of the National Assembly to also provide for this very special group. Mr. Chairman, on the issue of immunity, they both demand that all elected public officers holders should not enjoy immunity from prosecution on criminal cases. Let me repeat, criminal cases. But we allow that on civil cases, so that they are not distracted from office, we can have such an immunity. This is what is applied globally, and therefore Nigeria should not be an exception. And on residency and individual issue, this issue has been led very clearly also. We adopt what we have agreed, because NLC also participated in the 2014 conference, in the amendment process of the 7th and 8th National Assembly, and all the issues I've quoted have been the position that NLC have laid, and all those positions have been upheld, including the issue of co-labor issues that I've said. On the issue of abolition power, lastly, Your Excellency, there is need to review the current revenue sharing formula, actually to the advantage of local governments and states. It is very important because some of those responsibilities certainly should go to them, and therefore our prayer is very straightforward. They are contained in the 71-page memorandum that we have submitted for your consideration, and I so adopt those prayers in the 71-page memorandum that we have submitted to you. Thank you, Your Excellency, for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for the filibuster. I will now call on Jake Ikwele to make his representation on behalf of the Abuja Foundation and others with ability. Nigeria. Jake.
Thank you very much. Just before Jake comes on, let me welcome distinguished Senator Mohammed Hassan Gusau, as well as distinguished Senator Architect Kabir Gaya. We welcome all of you, sir. Thank you for coming. Jake Ikwele.
I waited for Jake Ikwele. Let me ask the President of Nigeria to please prepare. After Jake. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, distinguished members of the High Table, Your Excellency, our lawmakers, ladies and gentlemen. May I stand on behalf of persons with disabilities and also my very lovely, beautiful sister, Lois, who is representing the women aspect. We know that the president of Jonah Pete is also in the audience, if she can join us. For want of time, because we will not abuse the time, we have articulated every aspect of the Constitution that have been very unfair to persons with disability in Nigeria. And I'm not going to read what we have put together. We will share it and make sure that everybody gets it, so that my sister can take his turn. But please, Chairman, please pay attention to the number of sections that we have articulated that we not have time to look at. The first is the section 414. Which lists a number of ethnic group, religious organization, speaking about the discrimination that did not capture issues with persons with disability. We also want to draw your attention to section 15, subsection 2, which we require that disability should be added. Section 17 is also of interest to us, as well as section 18 is also of interest to the community. These sections did not capture issues of persons with disability, and we feel that this unfavorable treatment that 1999 Constitution has given to the community
should be reversed. Permit me, I know that we're very time conscious, that my colleague, Lois, will make the concluding presentation. Thank you.
Let me just invite Louis Aluta. Is it Anita?
Lois Aluta.
Okay, Aluta, please step forward before I bring in the representative of CAN.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Please permit me to proceed on existing protocol. Section 42 on prohibition of discrimination needs to be addressed for the interest of the disability community. Subsection 1, subsection 4, which talks about reservation of parliamentary slots. We want 15% of seats in the National Assembly, State Houses of Assembly, and local government councils shall be reserved exclusively for qualified persons with disabilities. Such reserved positions shall, as much as possible, take into account the different types of disabilities. We also want political parties to field persons with disabilities. Section 55 on language for business of National Assembly. We want sign language interpretation, braille, and other means of assistive communication to be arranged in every strategic meetings and activities of the National Assembly. Section 97, which also talks about language for business of State of Assembly, State House of Assembly, should also include issues of persons with disabilities. In conclusion, this memorandum has been prepared with the concerted input of stakeholders in the community of persons with disabilities, who account for a significant fraction of Nigeria's total population. For too long, we have been excluded, discriminated, and underrepresented. We want inclusion and equal opportunities for almost 30 million citizens of Nigerians with disabilities. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. And you have shown us that you are indeed an inclusive committee. And please let this exercise eventually our demands reflect in the new constitution that will become the document of Nigeria. Remember that the day you were born, you cried. Everyone around you rejoiced. We must live our lives so well that the day we die, we will rejoice. And everyone around us will cry. That's the life of contribution. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have a commitment on that we will consider all of your requests. Now, having said that, let me invite the president of Christian Association of Nigeria, I believe represented by Barrister Comfort Igwe. Director of Legal. Please step forward for your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
In the interim, let's have our Rafsanjani representing TISLAC. Please prepare to step forward immediately after that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We welcome distinguished Senator Lawal Gumo. Thank you for coming. And please, as you come up, just stand on the existing protocol and speak to your paper. 3 minutes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, distinguished Chairman. Please, greetings from the Christian Association of Nigeria. And I wish to register the apology of the current president who is unavoidably absent. My name is Comfort Oterachiwe, Christian Association of Nigeria Legal Advisor. I wish to stand here to give the position of the Christian Association of Nigeria. Our areas of importance, we are just going to be straight to the point because we have a memorandum already with you. On gender equality, we are asking for provisions that will empower women through education and inheritance, equal opportunities in all social political affairs. 18 years as the age of maturity and for consent for marriage. On federal structure and power devolution, confederation of independent regions, or federation of states or region. We are also asking for provisions for devolution and re-centralization of power and governance system through formal introduction of geopolitical zones. Regions will clearly assign rules. Also, we are asking also for constitutional recognition for traditional rulers and religious leaders by strengthening their cultural and social religious leadership responsibilities for easy identification of roles in the society. Also, we are asking for constitutional backing for the operational decentralization and recognition for law enforcement agency, exploring section 214 and section 215, subsection 4 of the 1999 Constitution. We also are asking that you should bring in provision for the definition of courts of superior jurisdiction to accommodate the proposed regional zonal system with respective appellate structures. On issue of secularity of Nigeria, on religion issue, we maintain that the Constitution should maintain the secularity of religion in Nigeria. Remove any religious provisions, but if need be, you wish to maintain any, place insert also in the constitutional provision for ecclesiastical court for the Christian people. Furthermore, we are asking on public revenue, fiscal federalism and revenue allocation. We are asking for revenue allocation and sharing formula to be guided by the principles of sustenance and benefit to sources of derivation on ratio of 70% retained by regions and 30% for the central level. Maintain also the provisions that will talk about the financial autonomy of the independence of the judiciary. Let them have the autonomy, financial autonomy, not just separations of power, but they should be backed up with provisions for financial autonomy. We are also asking for the separation of the office of the Attorney General from the office of the Minister of Justice for easy administration. Christian Association of Nigeria is also asking for provisions for definition of an indigene, proper definition of an indigene of Nigeria, of the country of Nigeria, which must be different from the provisions for residency rights. We are also asking for equality of all persons before the law, immunity clauses to be expunged, whether in civil or criminal matters. We also pledge and crave indulgence on this exercise to take into consideration creation of new states for administrative impactment and governmental dividends vis-a-vis few of them we know, Southern Kaduna Kataf, Rara State, the other state from the present Enugu State, Cross River North State, Ogun State, Okigwe State, Ogun State, and so many others that are craving for the states. We are also asking for the amendment of Section 32 and to delete Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution as to allow for the creation of local government areas or such autonomous administrative units to be created by the respective regions and confederating units. Please also permit us to crave your indulgence to bring in provisions, constitutional provisions for enforcement of our fundamental human rights and the renew. And also we are asking for the review of the legislative list contained in the second schedule of the 1999 Constitution. Mr. Chairman, distinguished Senator, permit me to go back to the issue of gender equality. Because we are standing here and there is no time. We are suggesting that where there is a president male, there should be a vice president female. And if there is a Senate president, there should also be a vice president that is female. We should be carried along for things that concern our country. We are the mothers of the country, and we will support you very well. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, sir. Sorry to
Thank you very much, Dr. Chigwe. Let's now have our Professor Jenny. And while he's making his presentation, let's have Comrade Ambali Olatunji of Nuge prepare to step forward. Thank you very much.
Our Rafsanjani is represented.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished senators. I represent our Rafsanjani from Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center. Our presentation here goes to support what the last speaker has just said. We want to mention that women constitute about half of Nigeria's population, and only about 1 in every 10 elective and appointed positions in Nigeria. Women in Nigeria face many challenges to entering and remaining engaged in politics. Women's political representation in Nigeria has steadily declined since 2007 and risks declining further without support and action from political leaders. CISLA and other civil societies are therefore calling on the Senate and all the legislators to ensure that certain bills that have been attached to this memorandum and add to order the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to create additional seats for women in the federal and state legislators be passed. We also ask for an act to further alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to provide for gender equity in executive committees of political parties and for related matters. We ask that an act to further alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to provide gender diversity in appointed positions and for related matters. That is also, and each other civil society partners are asking that an act to further alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to exclude actions taken to promote gender equality in political and administrative office from being considered discriminatory and for related matters. Finally, we are also asking that an act to further alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to include gender diversity as a benchmark for federal character and for related matters. We must conclude by saying that women are not only mothers, wives, and sisters. They have great passion and capacity to address social changes like poverty, access to health care, and education. Research has shown that women's equal participation and leadership in politics are essential to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Distinguished senators, please adopt these bills and ensure that they are passed. It is also important to know that it is a man that is requesting that we have women inclusion in politics. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's now have Comrade Olatunji of Nuge. Is he here? Is he here? And after Olatunji, please let's have the representative of IPAD, that's Inter-Party Advisory Council. Please prepare to step forward immediately after this to make your presentation. Mr. Olatunji, please.
The Deputy Senate President and the Chairman of this Review Committee, all leaders of the Senate, all special guests and leaders and participants. I represent all the workers in 774 local governments. Our belief is that the foundation of our nationhood rests upon the local government. And once the foundation is faulty, the building collapses. The myriad of problems we build in Nigeria now is as a result of continuous and systematic destruction of local government as a tier of government. This is the most closest to the people, the most reliable, the oldest, and the most strategic. For us, the problem between local government started in 1999 as a result of lacuna in the Constitution from Section 7(1), Section 8, and Section 162. We believe that for us to get it right, the local government must be directly funded, not get clamor for both political and financial autonomy to allow local government meet the needs and aspirations of the rural populace. By our own democratic survey, we have realized that over 68% of Nigerians reside within the rural settings. And they are neglected, there is high level of poverty, hopelessness, joblessness, and retarded growth at that level. We all believe that under political autonomy, we have realized that conduct of election by so-called state independent electoral commission has turned to a charade. Instead of a transparent and credible electoral process, what we are witnessing is coronation, adoption, and promotion of political surrogates. We have also witnessed the denial of the democratic system of government at local level by the state political actors who desire to appoint their surrogates to head local government in contradiction to the constitutional dictates. We believe that in the 1999 constitutional amendment being proposed, local government should be clearly stated as the third tier of government. We have listened to argument that we have only two federating units. But we say, even in Nigerian principal law, the 1960 constitution, state was not mentioned as a federating unit. And in comparison, other advanced economies and democracy, UK is an example. We have only the federal and the state and the local government. There is no state government that is in existence. So for us, we clamor for the abolition of JAC, Joint Account Allocation Committee, which has served as a conduit pipe through which fund members for growth and development of local government have been pilfered, diverted, and analyzed stolen. Also on establishment on security, we believe that a vibrant and functional local government system will stem the tide of security in Nigeria. Let us have community police. Community police is the most important. In comparative analysis, let's compare the security situation in Kano and Kaduna, for example. In Kano, that's why the youth population and the continuous development in Kano. As a result of this, the local police and vigilantes put in place, they have effectively policed Kano. Whereas in Kaduna, despite the low population density in Kaduna, we are witnessing a lot of insecurity challenges. And we say that for all security challenges, the problem is local and the solution should be local. We should adopt a system where local government should be able to recruit the locals, train them, position them, and remunerate them to allow them to police their locality. So the community policing is the way to go. We have also realized that some ministries, federal ministries, like Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Youth Development, should be considered to the local government for effective performance. The revenue formula, we are proposing that the revenue formula should be skewed thus: 20% to the federal, 25% to the state, 35% to local government, 15% to derivation, and 5% consolidated savings. On the role of
traditional rulers. We have listened to arguments here and there. People have been saying, give us rule. But they are not specific. Nonga is recommending, therefore, that the Department of Community and Social Development should be superintended by the traditional rulers. Traditional rulers will be appointed to be supervisors of community and social development in the local government. Whereby the Ministry of Culture and Tourism at the state level to have their commissioner appointed among traditional rulers. Ditto the Federal Ministry of Culture and Tourism. We is also supporting the clamor that we should retain labor on the exclusive legislative to create social protection for the vulnerable, which workers are also among. We believe this amendment will solve the problem between Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you. Vice Speaker. Wow.
Mr. Chairman, we're also live on Arise Television. And we'd like to thank them for thank you very much, as well as NTA. Please stand on the existing protocol. Thank you very much. 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. Stand on the existing protocol. I bring this for the Inter-Party Advisory Council of Nigeria, the body of all political parties in Nigeria. One of the things I'd like to say here, we can come here, make proposals and submit all our memorandum, but when it comes to operationalize all these things, it squares up with the political leaders, largely. And so it's important that we also make our inputs in this respect. Having said that, I know we're short of time. We have 14 areas where we looked into. This area has to do with cross-carpeting by elected members of the legislature and all elected officials. We also looked at enhancements of youth and women's participation in politics. Our support for the establishment of the Electoral Offences Commission, introduction of electronic voting, challenge of multiple voting in elections, regulation and registration of political parties, appointment of INEC chairman and members of the commission by an independent body or authority other than the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We also looked at constitutionalization of the appointments of political aides to members of the executives. The one key area we think we also square up is scrapping of the State Independent Electoral Commission to enhance the credibility of election at the state levels and also to stop this sole administrator and the lordship of the state governors over the local government authority. We also looked at the establishment of state police, as well as the right of Nigerian diaspora to vote during an election. A key element of what we also submitted is adherence to constitutional entrenched federal character principle. But I will take a bit of this, some of them before I will exit. Now, let's talk cross-carpeting. We have this, there has been recurring cases of cross-carpeting from one political party to another, especially by elected members of the legislature and all elected officials. After being elected to the platform of a political party and sworn in as member of the parliament, immediately that is done, they begin to cross-carpet from one political party to another in many instances without justifiable cause. So our submission is that this should be addressed. And addressing that, in order to address these incidents,
we propose the amendment of Section 68, subsection 1 and G of the 1999 Constitution as amended to expand the scope of the caveat under paragraph G to make it more difficult to cross carpet from the political party to another provisions of these sections of cross carpeting. I've just been told my time is up, but in all, the position we're making is that we have also made a submission in respect of the scrapping of the State Independent Electoral Commission, as well as the permission of our brothers and sisters who are abroad to be involved in elections across the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Hope by Rookie forward. So to remind our Karim, representing Costa Staff to see develop.
Permit me. An organ. Our aim at the election and an account. In line with this, I highlighted 5 areas that we. These are related. These areas are electoral, local government, judicial reform, and increased independence of public. Regarding representation, we are deeply concerned with representation across. Therefore, special the national and state legislature. This is in line with practices around the world. Countries such and Samoa, temporary, but therefore that creates houses directly. Our second recommendation is electoral. Given the important role that national elections, if it is improper that members of the Commission are led by the. Therefore, recommend the amendment of Section 154 Constitution provide for the appointment of INEC Commission. Believe that this better protect the independence. Another issue related to electoral independent candidates. We call for the amendment of Sections 652, 106, 131, and 177 of the effect that a person need not be a member of a party or sponsored by that party, stand for presidential, governorship. We believe that this will higher efficient and more effective, particularly in the legislature, as these officials will be partisan relations. Thirdly, call for local government. As the level of government, if there is important. Therefore, call the Constitution to provide definite terms and tenures local government to prevent state governments from holding local government elections. Another issue is that the electoral management body is conducting local government. That is the state independent electoral. Lack the funds and they are also largely other countries. We therefore call appointment their commission. Say that the should be paid directly to, just like it is to require a replication of Section 1813. Furthermore, state act leave the revenue fourthly, and judicial reform. And this particularly concerns the adjudication of an appeal. believe that the so-called justification of not only threatens the totality of, but also negatively impact as the judiciary. However, recognize that due to low level of democracy, there is a need for candidates. Therefore, recommend that while courts and tribunals can determine election, they should be prepared from determining these members of executive. Finally, believe that the appointment Attorney General of the Federation, Auditor General of the for the Attorney National Judicial also recommend all on them. Thank you very much.
If you intend to make it clap, please let's make it clap for her. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Karim, step forward. Mama.
I've seen it. And you know, protocol. And I'm here represent our mandate to bring forth, including men, young people, and persons with disabilities. To this end, our recommendation is that the bill for a minimum appointment for women and youth in cabinet and ambassadorial positions should be made represent by including persons with disability. We propose that amendment should be made to Section 171 of the 1999 Constitution to provide that in the appointment of ambassador, high commissioner, or other principal representatives of Nigeria abroad, that at least 50% of those appointees shall not be older than 40 years at the time of appointment. 40% of them shall be women, and 10% persons with disabilities. There are about 30 million Nigerians living, and sidelining them from making and governance hurt our collective interest as a people. That should be. Also, Section 65 and 106, a bill to alter the sections of the 1999 Constitution as amended to provide for identification of women as individuals of a state by